Welcome to the first webinar in our career series. My name is Amy Dietzman, and I'm going to be moderating this webinar today. I'm also going to be presenting a few slides. I'm the Senior Director of Learning and Development at Tutor.com, and with me today are some of my best and brightest coworkers from my team. I have Sarah Snyder here today, Jenna Gillio, and Alexis Miller to present. So I'm going to pass it over to Sarah to get us started.
Today's agenda looks a little like this. We're talking about how to handle unemployment uncertainty. So we're going to talk about how to work your resume to its best effect during times like this, how to fill in any resume gaps that you might have, appropriate ways to fill them, on-the-job upskilling and off-the-job upskilling, how to find and take advantage of those opportunities to help beef up your resume, some things about non-traditional experience and how you can portray that, and then a little bit about networking and how that can play a role in being able to find the right job. So Jenna, take it away.
Thank you, Sarah. Many job seekers unintentionally undersell their experience by simply listing out their tasks or responsibilities without actually demonstrating their impact. In fact, on average, recruiters spend as little as 6 to 8 seconds initially scanning a resume to decide whether it warrants a closer look. They're looking for value, outcomes, and proof that you'll be successful in their role. One thing that you can do to help your resume stand out to recruiters is to reframe your accomplishments. Examine each bullet on your resume and ask yourself, so what? What did this task actually lead to? Did it save time, maybe make money, improve a process, or help a team member succeed? Quantify it. Use numbers whenever possible. Think percentages, dollar amounts, time saved, or the number of people impacted. And if you don't have exact metrics, that's okay. Use estimates or add context with phrases like significantly improved or consistently met deadlines. Now, with that said, you also want to avoid inflating or exaggerating your results. Authenticity matters too, and employers can tell when something feels overstated. One framework that you can use to help reframe your accomplishments and enhance your resume is the CAR method, which stands for challenge. What was the problem, the need, or the opportunity that you faced? Action. What specific steps did you take to address that challenge? And result. What outcome did your actions create? Now let's take a look at the CAR method in action. Here is a basic resume bullet. Led tutoring sessions for high school math students. Now, this bullet might tell a hiring manager what the person did, but it doesn't demonstrate any real results or provide a sense of their impact. By reframing the bullet using the CAR method, it might sound something like this. Led one-on-one tutoring for Algebra 2 students, improving average test scores by 18% over 8 weeks through personalized study plans. Sounds a bit more impactful, right? So let's break it down. The challenge here was that students were struggling in Algebra 2. The action was providing those personalized tutoring sessions. And the result was an 18% improvement in test scores over 2 months. It's a pretty powerful distinction, and it turns a basic task into a measurable success story. So let's try another example. This bullet reads, answered customer service emails and resolved issues. Again, this bullet is factual, but it doesn't really communicate to employers how well the person did their job. After applying the CAR method, it might sound something like, resolved an average of 50 or more customer inquiries per week with a 95% satisfaction rating, contributing to a 10% increase in retention. In this example, the challenge was managing a high volume of customer requests and helping to improve retention. The action was managing customer communication and resolution. And the result was a high satisfaction rate and a measurable impact on customer retention. Let's do one more example where there aren't any obvious numbers or data to quantify a task. So here's the basic task: manage social media accounts. Now, this is broad and it doesn't tell recruiters what the person actually achieved through it. So here's how it might look using CAR, even without exact data. Developed and implemented a new social media content strategy to increase audience engagement and strengthen brand presence. The challenge here was the need to build a stronger brand presence. The action was creating and executing new content strategy. And the result was increased engagement and stronger brand presence. Now, whenever it's possible, it's always best to provide an accurate estimate. But even without precise data, you can show outcomes and demonstrate initiative, which is what employers are looking for. Resumes are not one size fits all. Even a great resume can fall flat if it's not aligned with the specific role that you're aiming for. Customization shows hiring managers that you're not just qualified, but you're the right fit. Here are some quick tips for customizing your resume. First, include the job title that you're applying for near the top of your resume. It could either be in the professional summary or even in the headline if it's appropriate. Reorder your bullets to prioritize what's most relevant and not necessarily what's most recent. Consider different versions of your resume for different roles. So for example, your bullets might sound different for a people management role versus an individual contributor role, or for a corporate role versus a nonprofit role. One way to accomplish that is by mirroring language from the job description throughout your resume. That said, again, you want to avoid simply copying and pasting because you do want it to sound authentic to you. So, what does it look like to align your resume to a job description in practice? Start by creating a master resume that includes all of your experiences, your skills, and your accomplishments. This is often referred to as a running resume. Think of it as your personal database that you can pull from anytime you're tailoring your resume. Then, even if you're not actively job hunting right now, take some time to collect 3 to 5 job postings in your desired area or industry. This can help you identify what employers are consistently looking for. As you review those postings, look for repeated keywords, skills, tools, and even tone. Are they emphasizing leadership and strategy? Do they want someone with strong client-facing skills, or maybe even familiarity with AI tools? Once you've identified those patterns, try to incorporate that language in your resume where it genuinely applies to your experience. This helps your resume stand out to both human recruiters and applicant tracking systems. Tools like JobScan or even ChatGPT can automate part of this process by comparing your resume to a specific job description you provided and identify exactly which keywords or skills that you're missing or may need to emphasize a bit more. So here's a quick example of aligning a resume bullet to a job description. Let's say your current bullet reads, created internal training materials for new hires on platform tools. But the job description says, seeking someone experienced in instructional design and e-learning content development to support onboarding and professional development. So to align it better, you might revise it to designed onboarding and e-learning content for internal teams, supporting faster onboarding and ongoing skill development for new hires and existing staff. So you may be wondering, why is this effective? Well, It reframes the task using industry-aligned terms like instructional design, e-learning, and onboarding. It also emphasizes strategic outcomes like skill development and onboarding speed. And it reflects language in the job posting, which again helps both human recruiters and ATS systems determine your fit for the role. So, how can you use AI tools like ChatGPT to enhance your resume? Well, think of AI as your writing partner and not as your ghostwriter. The quality of what you get out of it really depends on what you put in, and that's where smart prompting comes in. So let's walk through a few examples of how to use smart prompts to get the best results. One way that you can use AI is to ask it to rewrite or strengthen your bullets. Rather than saying something vague like, make this sound better, try giving it a little more direction with a prompt like, rewrite this resume bullet to focus on outcomes and include metrics. This works because you're telling it exactly what you want, which is a focus on outcomes and metrics, instead of just leaving it to guess. Another way to use AI is to tailor your resume to a specific job description. Instead of using a prompt like, make my resume fit this job, which doesn't really give AI much context, try something like, here's a job description and my current resume bullet. Rewrite the bullet so it aligns better with the role. This way, AI knows exactly what job you're targeting and what experience you're starting with so that it can tailor your bullet effectively. You can also use AI to brainstorm transferable skills when shifting roles or industries. So rather than asking, what jobs can I do, which is too broad and also runs the risk of turning into a generic career coaching conversation, try narrowing it down with something like, I'm a teacher transitioning to project management. What transferable skills from my current resume should I highlight? This prompt focuses specifically on your current experience and your ideal next step, giving you actionable results. AI is also great for polishing tone and structure of your bullets. But instead of saying, fix this bullet, which doesn't specify what exactly you want changed, try a prompt like, make this bullet sound more dynamic and confident without adding fluff. This offers a clear direction on exactly how you want the bullet to come across. While AI can be a powerful tool for enhancing your resume, it's important that we use it wisely. So let's talk about some common pitfalls to watch out for, along with a few tips to help you get the most out of it. First, beware of formatting issues. AI often uses long em dashes instead of standard bullet dashes, and that can actually prevent applicant tracking systems from reading your resume correctly. It can also add extra formatting, like smart quotes or unusual bullet styles that may not copy over very cleanly. So to avoid these potential pitfalls, try pasting your AI output into a plain text editor like Notepad before finalizing it in your resume. Keep an eye out for inauthentic language. Sometimes AI suggests wording that sounds overly generic or inflated. Phrases like synergize dynamic workflows just doesn't feel natural or authentic. Always a good idea to tweak this language so that it sounds like it's coming from you. Always check for assumed experience. AI might suggest impressive sounding outcomes or responsibilities that may not have actually accomplished. So make sure to thoroughly fact check so that your resume is accurate and true to your experience. To get the most out of AI, you want to use it iteratively. Don't just take the first version that it gives you. Refine it until it sounds like your voice, just a stronger, more confident version. Pair it with job postings. AI is great for helping you identify keywords and reframing your content to better match the roles that you're targeting. And don't forget to ask for alternatives. For example, you could say something like, give me 3 variations of this bullet focused on leadership. This way, you have options to choose from and can select the one that feels most authentic to you. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Alexis and Sarah to share about filling in resume gaps and upskilling opportunities.
Thanks, Jenna. So you're reading through a job description for a role that you're excited about. And as you review your resume, you realize that something is missing. It's strong, but it doesn't quite show that you're fully qualified. So what now? You fill in the gaps. When you look at your resume and the job that you're applying for, ask yourself, what is my current skill set and experience? This includes your accomplishments in both past and present roles, the degrees and certifications and credentials that you've earned, as well as the hard and soft skills that you've developed over time. These range from proficiency with industry-specific tools and programs to key interpersonal abilities such as conflict resolution and time management. Next, consider your career goal or the job that you're applying for and ask yourself, what else should I learn or do to align myself with this? This might include engaging in on-the-job upskilling, off-the-job upskilling, and non-traditional work, which we'll discuss next.
What is upskilling? Well, upskilling is the process of learning new skills or enhancing existing ones to stay current, grow in your career, or pivot into new opportunities. So this is about future-proofing yourself by continuously building knowledge, tools, or capabilities that match those evolving demands of your role or of your industry or of your career goals. You might be thinking, well, that's nice, but is it really that important? Can't I just learn new things with a new job and then settle in? Is comfort all that bad? Well, I'll admit that comfort is comfortable. But if career growth is something you desire, if future proofing yourself is something you desire, I strongly encourage upskilling, and here's why. First, industries evolve. Jobs are automated, organizations restructure. Upskilling helps you stay competitive and adapt quickly, no matter what changes occur. Second, most jobs aren't posted for long, if at all. Continuous learning keeps your skills sharp so that when opportunity knocks, you're ready to go instead of scrambling to catch up. Third, knowing that you're growing makes it easier to navigate uncertainty. Skill building is one area where you can take proactive control even when other factors like job security feel out of your hands. And last, upskilled workers bring current relevant skills to the table. That can boost your resume, your interview confidence, even your leverage in promotions or freelance work. So now that you're hopefully convinced of its value, let's look at the most effective timing of your upskilling efforts. We have two approaches that we can take. First, we have the reactive approach, where we are upskilling because we need to. We lost our job and now we need to learn something new because we want to be more employable. Our current job has lost its allure. We need to learn something new to be competitive as we seek something shinier. And then we have the proactive approach, where we are upskilling because, well, that's what we do. We are in a constant state of learning and professional development. We are perhaps satisfied with our job, but we would like to increase our leverage for promotions, raises, job pivots. So how do these compare to one another? Well, reactive upskilling is the most common. Proactive is the least common. To be a proactive upskiller, you have to really be intentional all the time. To be a reactive upskiller, you wait until you're pushed into it. Being reactive ties your upskilling to crisis mode, while being proactive ties it to career development, a continuous thing. Generally speaking, it will probably be more enjoyable to you to upskill proactively rather than reactively. You'll just be in a better frame of mind while you're doing it. Being reactive can lead to stress-based decisions on what to upskill in, maybe even looking for anything and everything that's quick and easy, whether it's relevant or not. Proactive upskilling, on the other hand, is tied to career development. So you're looking for intentional areas to upskill in order to advance your career along a desired path. Decisions become strategic instead of stress-based. Being reactive can often lead just to surface level skills because, along with the stress of needing it right away, you won't feel the luxury of really diving in deep to what you're learning or really spending a lot of time in it. Being proactive gives you more time to invest deeply into one thing at a time. And last, gaps between your level of knowledge and the going industry level of knowledge can widen when your learning gets stagnant. If you're proactive, though, your skills are more likely to stay sharp, stay up to date with the industry, even get sharper as your knowledge stays up. So while being proactive does require more intentionality, its benefits have the potential to far outweigh that aspect. And in case you feel the need for more reasons to be upskilling in a proactive manner, and in fact in a continuous manner, here are 3 more. Future proofing isn't seasonal. Waiting until a layoff, until you experience burnout, until you're in a job search means playing catch up under stress. Opportunities arise unexpectedly. Continuous upskilling means you're always a strong candidate for a raise, a lateral move, a leap into something new. And upskilling compounds over time. Just like investing money, regularly investing in skills builds long-term career value and opens unexpected doors. Upskilling on the job with your current employer is one of the most underutilized yet powerful career strategies out there. This is a hidden gem of career growth that builds value for both the employee and the employer. For the employee, this kind of upskilling can lead to increased internal visibility, faster career advancement. For the employer, it can increase retention, foster internal mobility into new roles that reduce the need for external recruiting. There are many ways to take advantage of on-the-job upskilling opportunities, from attending workshops or trainings put on by your employer, to taking on stretch projects in your current role, to participating in leadership or mentorship programs. In short, take advantage of any opportunity that presents itself to teach you something new, to strengthen your existing knowledge of something, or to get to know the people who do the things that interest you. When you're looking for places to upskill outside of your current employer, the possibilities are nearly endless, ranging widely in price from free offerings to college level tuition prices. You can find certifications, boot camps, specialized courses in a multitude of disciplines. And while YouTube is a wealth of free knowledge, if you can find a place to learn that will also certify your learning, that is going to be significantly more impactful on your resume. So we're going to focus on the non-YouTube wealth of knowledge out there. Feel free to screenshot this. You'll also see the list in the PDF version that you'll get with the webinar recording in a couple of days. But some of the more common places to go depend on what you want to learn. But well-known and well-respected certifications can be found from places like Microsoft, CompTIA, Salesforce. Popular boot camps where you can go to learn and practice new skills include sites like Career Foundry, Design Lab, or Reboot. And then for full-blown courses ranging greatly in price and even including some free options, popular places to look include Coursera, LinkedIn Learning, and university office extension offices. So this list is by no means comprehensive. If you want to learn something, chances are really high there are affordable courses or boot camps to teach you and certifications to prove that you've learned it. The sky really is the limit if you're willing to put in the time to research the best options for you and then see them through to the end.
So when it comes to non-traditional work, did you know that 60% of hiring managers value diverse work experiences, including non-traditional roles? 73% of organizations are shifting towards skill-based hiring, in which what you can do and demonstrate is more valuable than the years you spent with a specific title or company. 79% of hiring managers view non-traditional work favorably if the candidate demonstrates learned skills and growth from the experience. and 82% of hiring managers associate volunteer work with leadership. Okay, so those were a lot of numbers to process. What does it all mean? When should you include non-traditional work experience on your resume? You may want to add it when it closes gaps in your work experience. For example, if you have a year-long gap in traditional work experience, you may want to include freelance, contract, or volunteer work that you did during this time to show that you are still engaged in professional development. Consider including it if it aligns with the job that you're applying for and will strengthen your application. Determine whether your accomplishments, responsibilities, or the industry of this non-traditional job better positions you to qualify for your targeted role. Also, consider whether it highlights skills that you've learned or demonstrated that could be transferred to your targeted position. Look at keywords in the job description and decide if the skills that you've learned align, and then demonstrate how in your bullet points. Finally, you may want to include it if it helps you stand apart from other candidates in a positive or interesting way. For example, once when reviewing resumes for an operations position, an applicant detailed their experience in the theater on their resume. This was an interesting contrast to their analytical qualifications and made them memorable. It was impactful because their degree, work, and internship experience was in line with the operations job description, but the theater experience highlighted communication and teamwork skills that were also relevant to the job. So remember to keep it professional and be prepared to discuss it in an interview. So now let's take a look at non-traditional experience that can bolster your resume. Please feel free to screenshot this page or refer to the PDF that comes out in a couple of days. Some of these may be experiences you've already had. Others may include experiences you want to pursue depending on your career goals. These categories include volunteer work, such as fundraising, tutoring, community service, and camp counseling. Freelance or gig work, which is more likely to be industry or skill specific and can highlight transferable skills. A quick Google search using industry and skill-based keywords plus freelance can help you find freelance or contract opportunities in line with your desired role. Personal projects, which demonstrate initiative and can include an industry-specific mock portfolio, course development, content creation, an e-commerce store, or contributing to an open source project. And finally, school-adjacent experience, including a thesis or dissertation, a capstone project, research experience, internships, and extracurricular activities. So let's take a look at a resume that effectively features both traditional and non-traditional experience. This sample resume comes from resumeworded.com, and here's why it works. The resume has a well-organized layout, which makes it very easy to follow, and it's divided into categories: education, experience, activities, university projects, and skills. Its layout is cohesive, and it allows the hiring manager to quickly review the candidate's experience by category. This applicant quantifies their accomplishment in their bullet points, as Jenna had discussed earlier. They demonstrate their impact through data and point to concrete evidence of success. Take a look at their software engineering internship entry under the experience section. They quickly explain what they did and back it up with percentages to show real impact. The first bullet point reads, analyze data from 25,000 monthly active users and used outputs to guide marketing and product strategies, increased average app engagement by 2 times, 30% decrease in drop-off rate, and 3 times the shares on social media. So as you see, they explain what they did, how they did it, and then they backed it up with real numbers. This resume also highlights their transferable skills in their bullet points by describing how they utilize their technical skills to make an impact. When listing your skills on your resume, remember to explain how you utilize them throughout your bullet points. For example, if you include Microsoft Excel in the skills section, remember to describe how you used Excel in your work. Show the hiring managers what you know. And finally, this candidate shows initiative through the activities and university projects section. Their Bachelor of Engineering degree and experience as a software intern lays the foundation for their career trajectory. If you look at the activity section, they write that they were head of events, which shows leadership as they founded a business series for students. Then, if you look at the university project section, the candidate details a classroom app and a model operating system that they designed and implemented, along with the problems that these projects solved. This demonstrates your initiative, problem-solving capabilities, and commitment to their field. So when you're working on your resume, remember to think of the big picture, where you want to go, and how you can get there, either through experience that you already have or by seeking out experiences that will strengthen your candidacy. And now I'll pass it over to Amy, who will discuss networking.
Thanks, Alexis. That was awesome. I'm going to talk to you about networking, which is defined as the exchange of information and ideas among people with a common profession or interest, and usually in a social setting. If you're like me, networking seems super uncomfortable. I'm not an introvert, but in social, businessy kind of settings where I don't know anybody, I tend to become one. There is no easy way to network. If you're uncomfortable about it, well, you're not alone. And there is no magic to becoming comfortable other than just to put yourself out there. Keep in mind that the point of networking is to build a foundation for relationships. And because introverts, if you happen to be one, tend to do better in small groups or in one on one conversations, it's a good idea to invest in those exchanges rather than superficially trying to work an entire room. So if you're uncomfortable with networking, challenge yourself to be more outgoing, to network effectively. Encourage yourself to stretch more than you usually would by speaking to someone just a little bit longer or setting a goal to interact with a specific number of people at your next work or social event. Let's get a little bit more into networking. While only 6% of job applications are submitted with referrals, they are responsible for 37% of all hires. If you know that, you will increase your chances of getting a job with a referral, then networking will come in handy for sure. Some research points out that 70 to 85% of jobs come from a hidden market, and that means they're never publicly advertised on traditional job seeking sites. Perhaps they're posted on internal job boards and marketed through networking, or they're filled only through networking from start to finish. 79% of professionals agree that networking is essential for career progression and success, and upwards of 80% of jobs are filled through networking. If even one of these stats is true, well, we have some networking to do. So let's talk about where you can network. Let's start with conferences. The right conference can be a gold mine for networking, full of people who speak your professional language and who are excited to share and connect. If your employer is willing to send you, say yes and go. If you're currently job hunting, I get it. Conferences can be very pricey. But here's a pro tip. Many offer free or discounted access to the vendor halls or specific networking events. So you don't always have to attend the full conference to get value out of it. Next up is job fairs, and these are your time to shine. Bring a stack of updated resumes, your best elevator pitch, and a friendly, open attitude. This is an opportunity to meet hiring managers and recruiters face to face, so you want to make it count. Now, don't underestimate community events. Think volunteer opportunities, neighborhood socials, book clubs, even that pool party down at your apartment complex. These are casual environments where real connections can happen. You never know who knows someone who's hiring or who can help make a meaningful introduction for you later on. And of course, there's social media. LinkedIn is still the MVP when it comes to professional networking. If you're job hunting, your profile should be polished, detailed, and absolutely linked on your resume. But don't stop there. You can also network through Facebook and Instagram, even TikTok, depending on your field. And just a word of advice, if you are in the job market, now is the time to do a little cleanup. Avoid political topics, controversial posts, or anything that might raise eyebrows. Go into positive and professional mode across the board on all of your social media. There are two main ways to network. One is to make new connections and follow up with them. And the other is to tap into your existing network, friends, former coworkers, classmates, neighbors, you name it. Let's start with how to make the most of brand new contacts. If you're attending a conference, don't go just for the sessions, go for the goal to meet people. Conference apps are also a hidden gem because they usually include speaker bios, attendee lists, and sometimes even messaging features. So do a little homework beforehand and make a short list of people that you want to meet. When a speaker is on your wish list, go to their session early or linger a little after. This is the perfect time to chat, not just with the speaker, but others who are like minded attendees in that room. It's a casual moment that can spark a great conversation. Now, here's a golden rule: build the relationship first. Don't come in hot asking for a job. Be curious, ask about their work, listen well, and focus on being someone they want to talk to again. The career stuff can come later. And try to meet multiple people at each event, not just a few. You might prefer smaller groups or one on one chats, totally valid. Remember, I talked about that at the beginning, but you still want to aim to expand your circle, make each connection meaningful, and then gracefully move on to the next. If you're connecting online, try to meet face to face or at least screen to screen as soon as possible. A message is great, but a coffee chat, either virtual or in person, is where real magic can happen. And prepare before those meetups. Read up on the person you're meeting, their company, their field. Come with thoughtful questions that show you've done your homework. Icebreakers like, how did you get started? Or, I read something recently about blank. What do you think about that? Can open the door to a deeper conversation. And once you've made the connection, you have to follow up. Always send thank you messages or continue the conversation or even just share a relevant article later. That simple touch point keeps the relationship alive and might even land you on their radar for a future opportunity. But let's talk about your secret weapon, your existing network. This is the part that's often easier, and yet it's way more powerful than you might think. If you know someone in a company or a field that you're interested in, just ask them, who should I talk to? Can you introduce me? LinkedIn makes this super easy. When you look at a job post, it shows you if someone in your network already works there. Even if you've never met them, you can message them. Hey, I'm looking at a role at blank company. Any chance you'd be open to chatting or giving me a few tips on how to stand out? I've noticed on LinkedIn a lot of times these are people that went to the same university I went to or used to work at a place I used to work. So there's already that natural connection between you. Better yet, reach out even before you apply. Ask for a referral. Remember how important referrals are. That insider push can make a huge difference in getting noticed. And yes, don't be afraid to put the word out there publicly. Post on LinkedIn. Ask your network for help. It doesn't have to be a huge announcement, just something like, I'm exploring new opportunities in blank role. If you know someone or something or someone that I could talk to, I'd love to connect. Here's an example of someone who did just that on LinkedIn. It's a higher level leader who simply said, I'm exploring opportunities, and tons of people responded to this person. It works at every level. But the last piece of advice I want to give you about applying for jobs is just go in with an open and positive mind. Give it your best shot and know that it's a hard market right now. You're going to kind of hit a black hole every once in a while. You're not going to hear a dang thing from these people, but it doesn't mean that the right opportunity isn't just right around the corner. So stick with it. So let's talk about getting that new job. We just went through these 5 things. So just a reminder: first, clean up your resume. Don't give up. That's in there. Fill in the gaps. Don't give up. Work on upskilling. Evaluate your non-traditional experience. Don't give up. And find ways to network and engage your current network. Now, we did some research for this presentation. So here's a few references that we have. And we also have done a lot of other webinars on this topic. So we have a YouTube playlist. If you want to take a picture of this QR code with your phone, you can go to the playlist on other things we've done, such as job searching. We've gone really deep into resume and cover letters. We've talked about job applications and keywords, and also mastering the interview process. So all of these webinars are available to you. And coming up, we have two more webinars coming up. The first one is on Tuesday, October 14th, and it is on preparing for your first job search. And the next one is in November, and it is on growing skills in a stepping stone job, which is awesome. We are also on social media, so if you want to follow us and find out other things that we're doing, we're always doing webinars on all kinds of topics. So please feel free to follow us and you'll find out what we're doing. And now I'm ready to open it up for questions. So if anybody has anything that they want to type in the chat, please do so. All right. Waiting for that. Team, while we're waiting for some questions, I did get some other questions that came in the chat earlier. Curious if anybody has any great tips for LinkedIn. Seems as though a lot of LinkedIn nowadays is there's a lot of political posts going on and people sharing things about their families. And so everybody was kind of curious, what other tips might you have for how we can engage on LinkedIn? Any thoughts?
We go into a bit of detail on how to handle your LinkedIn profile in one of those webinars in that playlist that we shared the QR code for.
Awesome.
As for how to actually engage with people on LinkedIn, that is not my specialty.
That's right. That's
I'm
all right.
great at engaging with the people that I work with, not so great at the people that I am connected to, but don't actually work with. But I think just keeping open communication with the people who have interests in the area where you're interested is prime.
That's right. That's great. Also, I've seen that a lot of people have really simple LinkedIn profiles that just list their job titles and really nothing else. You really want to get deep dive into LinkedIn and see people who have really great profiles and sort of model yours off of those. You'll see that headlines can be really catchy. People have summaries on there that are really great. Uh, Also, certifications are on there, all kinds of details about the jobs that they've done. These things are important because we hire people all the time and we always look at their LinkedIn profiles, not just their resumes. Jenna, did you have anything else to share?
I was just going to echo something that you said earlier when you were kind of talking about how you tend to become a little bit more of an introvert in those social networking settings. But I would say the same principle applies on LinkedIn. It might feel a little bit uncomfortable to reach out to somebody, it might feel like a little bit of a risk, but I think going into that with a what do I have to lose mindset is a great way to think about it. You never know who you might be able to connect with if you just kind of go for it. So just echoing
That's
that.
right. Yep. That's right. And we have heard from a lot of people, and I see it all over LinkedIn, that it's a hard job market. So if you're out looking, it's tough right now, but you just got to keep going. It only takes that one person who looks at your resume or looks at your LinkedIn and just sees something and it just connects to them. And they're like, this is the person I want to interview for this job. So don't give up. I had a job I applied for once. I counted the applications I sent out, and I sent out 200 resumes and applications, and I only got contacted by 2 companies in that whole time. And one of them was the job I ended up getting. So that's a lot. All right, we got another question. How do you make a portfolio that appeals to employers? Any thoughts about that? Portfolios? Alexis, do you have any ideas on that one?
I do. So I'm thinking about, like, say I was applying for a job in advertising. I work in recruiting right now, so that would be a bit of an industry change for me. If I was making a portfolio, I would make a bunch of mock ads, for example, and play to my strengths, which would be writing and maybe some visual design, and also look at the job description and see how I can tailor it, either to the job description or to the company's mission and their goal, and just really make it like appealing to the employer.
Oh, that's good. That's really good. We've hired people before who had portfolios, and I can say we've not required it, but it was pretty amazing when someone did have one. So if you're thinking about doing that and it's not required for whatever job you're looking for, it does set you apart, I'm sure. We have another question that says, I have not worked in 25 years. I don't have skills of any value anymore, and I have health issues. I need a job that pays about $2,000 a month working from home. Where are these jobs and how do I get one? Any thoughts on that, team?
I have a couple thoughts. One thing I would say is that I bet that you probably do have some skills of value.
Yes.
You might just not know exactly how to spin it. And so, going back to the piece on AI, I think that could be a really great
Hmm.
resource to use. Just kind of share with it candidly, exactly as you did here, and ask it to help you come up with some skills that might be transferable in whatever field or fields that you might desire. So that's one tip I have. Um, as far as where these jobs are, that one's a little trickier to answer. I would say one resource that we actually didn't mention here, but we do mention for sure in many of our other career webinars is the Bureau of Labor Statistics. It's just
Mm,
a great resource that you can use to kind of learn about different jobs, learn about what skills are required for each of those jobs and what experience you might need, things like that. So, number one, I would check out some of our other webinars, and then I would also be sure to check out that website as well.
that's really good advice, Jenna. And no, also, again, back to it's a tough market, and there's a lot of people who want to work from home right now. I mean, ever since COVID, a lot of people went to working from home and loved it, and then had to go back to work, and maybe now they've gotten laid off, and they want to work from home. So the competition for those jobs is pretty stiff right now, I would say. So again, stick with it. Keep keep applying, do the best you can. You've got to make yourself stand apart. So those, that advice that Jenna just gave about using AI to beef up the skills that you do have, because you probably have some, you probably need to do that. That's going to be really important to set yourself apart from all the people who are looking right now. Any other advice, team, on that one? That's a hard one. Okay. I think that's all the questions we have. So thanks everybody for joining us. Again, you'll receive the, hold on. We got one more. Oh, that was just a thank you. Okay, great. We will send you all the recording to this webinar, and thank you so much for being here, and thanks for your questions, and everybody have a good day.